I'm delighted to be hosting this series, sharing with you the stories of people who've transformed their health with a primal diet. And Stuie B, who's with me today, has had a phenomenal success. First of all, he's lost over 169 pounds. He's reversed his type 2 diabetes. He's lowered his blood pressure back to the normal range. And he's gone from 10 tablets a day or 10 medications a day to now none. So, welcome to the show, Stuie B.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Stuart, it's great to have you here. And it's great to connect with people who are eating primal, eating carnivore, who are based in the UK. So tell us where you're from.
I'm from a little place called Wolverhampton in the West Midlands, central UK. Yeah, it's only a small place.
Yeah, as I was saying that to you, that I'm from Birmingham, which is your next door neighbour, basically.
Yeah.
So, Stewie, what made you decide to change your diet? Tell us about what led up to it.
To be honest, I wanted to lose weight. That was my initial focus, was weight loss. Well, it was weight loss and getting fit. But little did I know, there's a lot more to it than weight loss and fitness. There's a hell of a lot more to it. So for me, that was the why I wanted to do it. Yeah. So weight loss and fitness.
And what weight had you gone up to?
The last time I weighed myself was the start of December 2023, and I just hit about 26.5 stone with a waist size of 48 inches, touching 50. I'm 6'3" in height. So
Yeah.
if you can, I was kind of a big lad.
Yeah, 26.5 stone. That's
Yeah.
incredible. And you've lost over 169 pounds. So it's
Yes.
an incredible success story. Just tell us how you were feeling. What was your life like when you were 26.5 stone, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, 10 medications a day? How was your life going?
Well, I thought it was great. I mean, everything, all my family and things like that was great, that side of it. But it was just me. I think I was sad with myself and what I'd become, what I'd put myself into. And I started realizing the things that I was starting to like the great outdoors. I've always enjoyed it, but I needed to get healthy and lose a bit of weight to get out there, if you get what I mean. So that sort of gives me the motivation for it. Um, that was it, and I just started basically. It was,
You said you stopped drinking in the beginning
yes,
of September 2023.
sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so beginning of September 2023, I stopped drinking and the party life, and then I began to wean myself off sugar. So how I started, I bought a load of Jaffa Cakes in, and over a couple of weeks, basically, I'd start off with a packet, and then I'd reduce that down to leaving a couple. So I was getting over the greediness each night, and then I dwindled myself down to like 2 Jaffa Cakes per day, and then it was 1. And then my last one, I took a chunk out to make a smile, and then I just dashed it in the bin. So I just chucked it in the bin, and that was it. I knew I was onto a winner with something, and that was it. I didn't touch any sugar, and that was just, I think that was just after Christmas. I think it was 2024, and that was it. Yeah. So then, oh,
2020,
sorry.
2023, I think.
So that was Christmas. Sorry, 2023. Yeah, so I'm losing it.
Yeah. And so how long did it take to wean down from a packet of Jaffa Cakes a night to you're taking a bite out of the Jaffa cake, running it away.
So it took me about 2 weeks just trying to control and discipline myself, and it was really hard, to be honest. People think, "Oh, sugar, oh, don't be so daft," but it is really hard. It was just I just had to. Some days I really felt like crying because I wanted to eat a big bag of Haribos or something like that, and I just had to do something else and put that off. Might sound funny to some people, but it might sound daft, but to me, it was a big thing, and I had to be careful in case I didn't go into depression because of it. But I kept my spirits up, and I got over it. To be honest, I just kept muscling through.
I'm just surprised you could do it so quickly within 2 weeks, because a packet of Jaffa Cakes, quite a lot, and that's probably, before you started with the Jaffa Cakes, that's probably just one of the things that you was eating along those
Yeah,
lines. So
yeah,
you've reduced it down to 1 pack, and then you've gone all the way down to just a couple of Jaffa Cakes a day, and then 1 a day, to the point where you're taking a bite and throwing it in the bin. So that day when you took a bite of a Jaffa Cake and threw the rest in the bin, what did you then eat the next day? How
Next,
to no sugar
and
from.
the next day, I think I had. By this time, I'd been researching various low carb aspects of dietary and ways of eating. So, trying to focus on cutting out bread. But I'm not a big pasta or rice eater anyway, but for me, it was bread, things like that, like a sandwich or, a big bacon and egg sandwich, toast, things like that. It still sounds nice now, but, I know if I do have it, it's going to have some sort of effect on me. So that's what I started looking into, removing that and upping my eggs. I've always thought too many eggs bad for you. That's come down in generations for our family. Oh, don't have too many eggs. Don't cook in butter. It's just myths. So I started to up my egg intake, and I was finding, wow, this is strange. Everyone goes on about the consumption of eggs being bad for you, but I've cut the carbs and I feel a lot better, in myself. Not My energy was starting to rise. I mean, I wasn't actually losing any weight or anything, which was my focus from doing the research I did, but it did come and fast.
So you you've gone to the Jaffa Cakes, then you started reducing the breads,
Yeah, yeah,
the eggs.
yeah.
And when did you sort of think, right, okay, I'm gonna go carnivore?
So before that, I was keto. So I was eating. I'd eat 2 meals a day. So from January to April, I was keto. So my ideal meal was 12 o'clock. I'd have avocado, some sauerkraut, maybe a bit of feta cheese, and some eggs, 6 eggs cooked in butter. And then that's how I started. So I'd do that consistently, day in, day out. For my last meal at 6 o'clock, I'd have chicken thighs with maybe some more eggs, a bit of cheese, and that was it. So I'd gone from consuming quite a lot of carbs to consuming a minimized dosage of carbs on the keto diet, which did actually have some sort of effects on me, which I didn't know anything about what the effects was. So yeah, that was it. The keto journey was good as well.
Well, let's look at the effects. What happened? So you started um
Grad I gradually started to notice bloating, a lot of bloating, because I was having sprouts. I was having like cabbage and things like that, cruciferous vegetables, and I was noticing changes in my body where I was noticing weight, which we all come back to. Everybody thinks the weight is good to come off you. But I was noticing I was really bloated. I was like, after my last meal, I just couldn't hardly move and stuff. And I thought, this is supposed to be helping me. So then I was investigating. What was on my plate. And I thought, these sprouts, every time I have these plants or these sprouts, I get bloated. So I cut them out and I just add more meat instead of the plants. Or I had a bit of sauerkraut and more eggs. And that I found no more bloating whatsoever, which, it took a bit to get my head around. But I did suffer quite heavily with headaches to start with and things like that because I'd always been told salt was really bad for you. So I was a bit, I don't want to put too much salt on my food. But in the end, I was just chucking loads on. I was just chucking it, Celtic salt, decent salt, not table salt. And I was just chucking it on. And after I started doing that, I felt 100 times better. I was getting enough salt. I was getting enough minerals from the food I was consuming. But, the weight was coming down. My body was changing. But it wasn't extreme enough for me. I like to go kind of hard or go home sort of thing. You know what I mean? So by that time, I'd been researching the carnivore way of life. And so I made the transition in April. On the Sunday, I just says, well, that's it. I'm just going to eat meat and animal-based products, nothing else whatsoever. The only thing I did have was coffee. I do like coffee. I've cut down a lot, but it has helped me along the way to get off other things. So it has been a big help.
Step by step in it. The coffee was the least of it from where you've come in from. So you started doing the carnivore, which involves, for people who don't know, eating a meat-based diet. So that's meat, eggs, dairy, and so there's no vegetables because we can get all of our vitamins, all of the nutrients, vitamins, and minerals, yes, including vitamin C, from the meat and the fat, and that comes with it. So you were doing this carnivore. Tell us about the sort of results that you saw. That was from April 2024, so about a year ago.
Okay, so I disciplined myself and I've made a fair few mistakes along the way. I kind of disciplined myself and forced myself into eating once a day. A big meal, fairly big meal, but that just drastically changed my weight loss goals. I saw the weight just coming off, unbelievable. I was eating, I found like it was strange. I wasn't hungry, and then I was hungry, but it'd pass, if you get what I mean. It was like a craving sort of thing. But I'd have to home in on my body and say, am I really hungry? Am I really hungry? Because my hunger signals was really messed up from the medication I was on before as well. So I was actually prescribed Trulicity, which is like a here we go, whatever you call it, this diet injection. That was a few years ago. And I still think that has a big factor to play in like hormone signals for hunger, because honing in on that has took some skill for me to be honest, to find out if I am really hungry or if I'm not. So I forced the situation and to eat OMAD once a day. And I'd done that. Well, I still do it now most days. And it did mess me up a bit. So on that side, I wouldn't recommend forcing any sort of fasting or anything like that from my side of things, because I lost all my muscle. I lost everything. And it just went to nothing, basically. It did get rid of the fat. I just went to nothing. And I had to rebuild.
Yeah.
While it's good, you have to be careful. And, there's a couple of rules that you do follow. Eat enough. Make sure you're not starving yourself. Just eat and eat as much as you can. Don't worry about the scales. Chuck the scales in the bin. I know a lot of people say it. Do not worry about weight, because that will fix itself 100%.
And for you, with the type 2 diabetes, the high blood pressure, and other things that you were taking, the 10 different medications for, you
Yep.
knew that it was reversing everything. can you remember, Stuart, how long did it take for your blood sugar? Can you remember what it was before you started and how long it took to normalize?
I did have some figures. So December, when I was still eating sugar in my previous diet, most days it would be sitting at 12, around about 12 mmol. It'd go up to 18 as well and things like that. Then it dropped back down, but it was constantly spiking. When I was keto, it wasn't so bad. I saw good results on the keto. But when I was on carnivore, I just seen amazing results, and it was just constant. It was just a constant, because I had a CGM as well. I was monitoring for a good 6-7 months, and it was just a constant. Nothing at all. Nothing. It was just unbelievable.
What would you say? What can you remember what the numbers were on average when you were?
For me, they were sitting around. They could be sitting some mornings fasted. They could be sitting at 4, and then slowly fluctuate through the day. Go up to 5, maybe 6, down to 5, but they wouldn't be spiking. So that was my main concern. Any spikes. So if it was at 4 and then it spiked up to like 7 or something, and I had an alarm set, then obviously something I've done or I've eaten has had that effect. But there's a number of factors that can actually spike it, when you're wearing a CGM. So that for me was just out of this world, and I felt great.
Yeah, it's great to see it all on the CGM. Well, you actually went between 12 and 18 before with your blood sugar. And then afterward, a 4 to 5, a rise would be a 6 after eating. So it was around the 5, which is absolutely phenomenal. And how long, if you can recall, did it take from when you started doing carnivore in the January of 2024 for you to see that it's coming back down to normal with your blood sugar?
Basically, I was constantly monitoring, and I was making it a bit obsessive. So I wasn't actually missing any sort of data whatsoever. And I was constantly logging all my data, and it was getting a bit extreme. Still, I was on medication, a bit of medication. The doctors was like, no, we don't want you to come off that. So I was on insulin as well. I was on 78 units of insulin per night as well for type 2 diabetes, which was doing nothing. It was just doing nothing. So I just chucked that in the bin. I just basically, when I felt good and I could see my results, I just went, see ya, chucked it. You shouldn't do that. But I discussed it with my GP, and I told him what I was doing. And I says, look, it's having no effect whatsoever on me. It's just making me hungry. I'm pumping myself with insulin. It's messing with my hormones, and my body doesn't need it. It just needs a massive reboot, and once I explained, he was kind of okay with that. He says, well, gradually bring it down. I says, no, it's my body. I'm going to do as I feel. If I feel good, then that's it. Obviously, if I feel sick, then I'm going to come back to you and we'll work at it. But I just felt amazing. I felt amazing. Once I come off that, I just felt amazing.
We had somebody recently on one of our resets. His blood sugar used to sit at 17 to 18, fasted.
Yeah. Wow.
And he started doing the primal eating. So a little bit of veg here and there, but mainly meat, eggs, and dairy. And his sugar normalized in the first week.
Yeah.
It was on green.
Definitely. I mean, the body's great like that. It can actually quickly react to things like that. I mean, if it just goes to show, if you just take away sugar, I mean, this diabetes epidemic that we've got in this country at the moment, it's crazy. It's all down to lifestyle, and it's all down to what you put in your mouth, which is bizarre for some people to get their head around. Once you click, that's it. There's no going back.
Totally. When you hear people saying, what should we do about the diabetes epidemic? You think, do you know what? Over 100 years ago in the medical research, They were treating diabetes, both type 1 and type 2, with a low carbohydrate diet because they knew it was sugar, too much sugar in the blood. So they help people by cutting down the carbohydrates. Now, doctors will pretend they don't know how you get diabetes. And if you go on the diabetes website, it says things like healthy carbs, eat 60 to
Yeah.
70% of your calories from healthy carbohydrates. Well, when you're a type 2 diabetic, there's no such thing as a healthy carbohydrate, but really you can reverse it totally by reducing your carbs as you've done, and it's so fast. So 371 pounds you were.
Yeah.
And even at 6'3", that's a lot of weight to carry around.
It is. It's equivalent to 5 UK car tyres.
Yeah.
I couldn't even carry that now, it's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. So I just wonder what the difference in how you feel in your day-to-day life between before when you weigh and your mental state before when you weighed 371 to now when you've lost 169 pounds.
Okay. So some of the changes that I've noticed with my mental, got no anxiety whatsoever. I don't suffer with any depression or anything like that. Whereas I did before, I'd be depressed about slightest things. I do overreact to things. I'll always do that. I do get obsessive, but that's not mental. I think that's just me. I get obsessive about things. I like to research and study about, I like to know everything about the subject that I'm dealing with, which, some people call obsessive. I just call intelligence. I used to bite my nails a lot. This is a little thing. I used to bite my nails all the time, and I used to be sitting there gnawing away, and I've not bit my nails for over about 16 months now, since I started cutting out all the carbs and all the sugar and everything. I don't sit there biting my nails. It was a constant thing I'd do. I'd my nails grow, and I'm like, whoa, I need to trim them. So I've had to invest in now I can't place this, which it's small, but for me, it's been one of them habits that's just disintegrated with this way of life. My mental clarity last year with my job role, it was unbelievable. It just got to the point where I was just doing my job with my eyes closed. It was just like superpowers. And one of the main things that I've seen is my fitness. So I've gone from 0 movement to just remarkable movements each day. So I've shot myself with a lot of things that I've done over the past 12 months, but my fitness levels and how I've got are just, for me, remarkable, and how I've come back.
Yeah, because you posted some of your routines in the WhatsApp group. So
Yeah.
you're right on it as far as the fitness and the strength is concerned.
Yeah.
Which it's like when you're going down, you're going into a deeper spiral, aren't you? Like you bad, so you're feeling bad, so you're not cooking, so you're eating bad stuff. You're not feeling good. Your mental clarity's not there. You feel tired, etc. The weight's coming on and on. The health is going down and down. And then as you come up, you start with one thing, which is just the eating. And then you feel more energy, you feel mental clarity, you can make commitments to yourself and keep them. And then you're exercising because you want to, because you feel you have to. So I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah. It's a good way of life, to be honest. And I wish I'd have found it years and years ago. But it's no good living in the past when it's done and I want it now. So
Yeah. Everyone I speak to says the same. I wish I'd found this years ago. I wish I'd found it years ago. It is a phenomenal way of life. The energy you have, the ease with which you go around life. And every now and again, I think to myself, I've got a body I'm happy in. I've got a body I want. And for
Yeah,
so long, that wasn't the case.
that's correct. Yeah, 100%. It's like it's just a totally different person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a totally different person just from the food. If somebody had told me that, I would have said it's unbelievable that just from the food that they told you not to eat, red meat and fat, eggs and dairy, full fat, just from that food, you can transform your health.
100%. Yeah.
So you've described a little bit how your life was before with more anxiety, more depression, the biting your nails, that could have even been an anxious
Yeah.
subconscious thing. But since you've changed, you've got mental clarity, that anxiety, depression has lifted, you no longer bite at your nails, your fitness is supercharged, you felt so different as a person, as a man. And has it affected your like relationships with people, like family, work colleagues, etc.?
To be honest, people don't recognise me now, so I just walk past them in the streets. No, I shouldn't say that, but I tend to come out the circle of friends that I was with, and I didn't see so many. Lucky enough, I had my family, my wife, and my kids to support me, and they've supported me all the way through it. They've seen, I've changed. There's been some bad times, but I'd say the good times outweigh the bad, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, totally. No, that's
So, yeah, as having them by my side, yeah, I could do anything.
and what have your wife and kids thought of the diet? Have they sort of decided to dabble in it or?
Mm, they just think it's a bit freaky, but they'll say on topic, "Oh, you can't have that. Can you have that? Can you have that, Dad? Oh, you can't have that, Dad. Don't." And I'll get to eat a cake or something. No, but I just wind them up. But the thing is, I was extreme. No, I think it's just part of the furniture. No, they know what I eat. I just eat steak, beef steak or lamb. That's it, and eggs.
Okay, so let's link into what you eat now because it's probably quite different to what you were eating at the very beginning. So, what are your meals now? Give us an idea of a typical meal.
Well, I'll go on how active I've been when so last year, around about October, I started doing a lot of walking. So I did 10 miles on a morning before I started work, 10 miles walking. And I used to think when I was walking, how am I gonna keep this up? I can't afford the food, to be honest, and I'd built myself into like some sort of marathon guy, marathon runner. I could just walk and walk. I had to stop because, I was just running out of track. And so I, you know, I, it all depended how much I was doing, and that's where I got. So typical day back then, I'd possibly eat OMAD, one meal a day, and I'd have like, if I was hungry, I'd cook 4 steaks, 8-ounce steaks, ribeyes. I'd have 9 eggs or so, maybe 12 eggs if I'm a bit hungry, with a bit of butter. No cheese or no dairy. I am a fan. I absolutely love dairy, but for me, the dairy, can't stop once I start. And if
Mm.
if I know there's a pack in the fridge of some like huge slices, I will carry on just eating them. And it just triggers something like a zombie attack. If
Yeah.
so now I'll probably have some at Christmas or on my birthday or something. As a bit of a treat because I know what it does to me. But yeah, so it's just pure steak, lamb. I love lamb chops, chunky chops. Some days I'll have 6 lamb chops, and then after that I'll have 3 steaks plus eggs as well, and that'll be my only meal. Nothing in between, just water and coffee, electrolytes. But since I've started the gym, I started the gym in March. I can eat and eat, and as I says earlier, honing in back in on them hunger signals is what I've got to do now if I want to cut the rest of the body fat that I've got.
Mm.
Because for me, it's getting rid of the last percentage of body fat so I can start being a lot better in the gym. So now, instead of eating 1.5 kilogram to 2 kilogram per day in meat, I've cut it down to 2 meals. So I actually started that today. So 2 meals will be 100% every day. So one at 12, and my next meal when I've finished up here will be 1.3 kilograms of animal meat. That's it. No eggs, just meat.
Yeah, with butter and fat
No,
or
no,
oh, right, okay.
not cooked in any fat.
Oh, were you trying that protein sparing modified fast type thing?
So what my idea is, I want to channel into the fat that I've actually got on me to see if I can actually get rid of that. I'm doing my exercise at various intervals, and then I'm eating at various intervals to trigger the mTOR response that I need to build the muscle back that I lost when I lost all the weight.
Well, that sounds like a really good plan. And I think people vary so much. Everyone has to experiment for themselves to see what
Yeah,
percentage of protein to fat is going to work best for you. When I first started, I wasn't adding extra fat. I was trying to eat fatty meat, but the steaks are not that fatty in this country on the whole. And so then I started adding a lot of fat, and that really worked for me. After a while, I found I wasn't wanting the fat anymore to that extreme, and
yeah.
I'll pull back again. So you just, as you say, got to experiment to see what works for you over time. I want to ask you, do you find that this is limiting? Because people might look at you, and even if you said to your former self when you used to eat, a packet of Jaffas in a day as a starter, well, you're just going to eat meat and eggs,
Ish.
yeah.
Um, Myself, I'm a carnivore extremist, so I won't actually put the way of life down. So it's thumbs up for me. But people do look at me weird because I have to have my meat specific. If I'm in a restaurant and if I can even smell an olive oil or anything like that, I'm sending it back. Well, people are going to call you. See, it's more acceptable to eat McDonald's sitting there in the street or whatever, eating a McDonald's, than it would be a steak and a big pile of eggs. People would look at you and think, well, but I'm not. I'm not really bothered. Not bothered one bit. I know what's going to make me feel better: steak and eggs, rather than the, sorry about the advertising, the junk food, as I call it. From my point of view, I'm not bothered what people think either.
Okay. And that just made me think, did you go back to your doctor?
Oh, my doctor's a bit of a waste of space. I'll tell him. I did actually tell him to his face, but yes, I did. And he just looked at me to say, "Oh, okay." And I says, "Well, you know, why couldn't you have explained low carb and things like this to me?" And I understand they're not nutritional experts or anything, but even the nurse says, all you eat is meat. Oh, you shouldn't do that. You're going to keel over soon. And I was like, well, okay. Says you, when she was quite a large, plump woman. And I thought, well, you need a bit of carnivore in your life. But I've not been to the doctors. I did go in December just for bloods, rather than going, and my blood work was great. My triglycerides was really low. My HDL was high, as the ratios I want to see. I'm happy with that. I could just chuck the blood tests out the window, to be honest, because I don't really care about it. It's, the thing is, if I'd have carried on going the way I was on my previous life, destroying my body with poisons and things, then I would have probably, you know, not been here, so to say. So for me, this way of life and what people think of it, like such as doctors and the medical industry, I don't really give a crap as long as I feel good.
Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it, that that nurse should say, okay. Here you are, you've just had your blood done, you're like a new man, you've lost all this weight, everything's looking great. Yet when you was overweight, was she saying, "Oh, don't eat that, you're going to keel over"?
No, no,
As it you're in such a much better position health wise. She's saying, "Don't eat that because it could keel over," as if
yeah, no. Well, that's it, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, questions around the healthcare GP system as a whole. I mean, they're just gatekeepers and they just prevent you from accessing the real people who know what they're on about, because consultants and people like that, they do know what they're on about, but GPs tend to be an all-rounder, and a lot of them get it wrong, really wrong, you know. And it would be good to get some carnivore friendly GPs, but I can't see that happening unless you pay a lot.
Y- Well, there are a few of them about, but yeah, it'd be nice if it'd be great if you went on the government website or the NHS or Diabetes UK, and it actually says to reverse diabetes, reduce your carbs.
Yeah, yeah. It's
All the website needs to say, because people will then find out and reduce their carbs, and we wouldn't have this situation where 90% have metabolic ill health.
definitely not. Definitely. 100%. I mean, I've got a few people on it around who are in my circle now, and one's my nephew, and he's cut quite a lot of the carbs out, and he's understanding it a lot better, how to eat and what works. I mean, it's not for everyone, but I think it's finding out what actually works for you. But
Mhm.
carbs, some people get along fine with carbs and things like that. I couldn't get along with sugar and carbs, so it had to be destroyed and gone. So no, I don't actually look at it.
Mm.
I actually do, to be honest. I miss chips and fish and chips and stuff like that, but I'm not. It's I know what it's doing to me because I've seen that side of it, and I've had enough of that junk food to last me for the rest of my life. I'm not missing out really.
Exactly, exactly. I've already had it. I've already had it
Yeah,
all
yeah,
and more.
yeah. It's just this really, just saying, oh, we could do with some of that. It's just the gremlins inside saying, oh, we'll have a bit of that. No, you won't. You just have to tell it straight.
It gets, although it does go up and down, it gets easier and easier and easier over time. What I
Definitely.
think, Stu, is all of this has happened in only 1 year.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the amazing thing. So, Stewie, you have done so incredibly well, because you mentioned previously you had been over drinking. You decided to knock that on the head, December 2023. Then in the January of 2024, you went keto for 4 months. And then you went in and did carnivore from April 24. We're now speaking at the end of May 25. So it's just over a year, and you've had all of these amazing results. You've lost 169 pounds, which is 76 kilograms,
yeah.
which is about a person.
Mhm.
You've lost 10 medications, all of which would have been having side effects.
Yeah, yeah,
And basically, you're feeling like a new man. Your anxiety is lifted, depression's lifted, you stopped that nail biting, you've got mental clarity, you've got incredible fitness. And what advice would you give to other people who are watching, who could easily eat more than one pack of Jaffas as a starter?
I think everybody needs to find out what's going to work for them, because it's no good forcing yourself into doing something that you're not going to do. I discipline myself and how to find the right levers to pull to get me along the way. And the first lever I pulled was keto, and that helped me. And then I decided I wanted to do something, more extreme, because I wanted to see more benefits on my health and everything. So I pulled the other lever, which was carnivore, and that come down and popped out. And yeah. So my advice to everyone, give it time, do it correctly, fill yourself up, don't starve yourself. There's no need to count calories. Chuck the scales in the bin. If you don't decide to chuck the scales in the bin and you do put a bit of weight on, don't get disheartened. It's all about your body composition and your body changing. That's it. And if you need any advice, give me a shout.
It's been great having you on, Stu. It's so impressive we've achieved just by changing your diet. And we all know how hard it is to take those first steps.
Definitely.
So, for everything you've achieved so far. And thank you also for watching or for listening. It's been great to have you with us. And if you want to take your first step on primal eating, then we'd love to have you on our 21-day or 90-day primal body resets. Just DM us with 21 or 90 and we'll help you get started. So thanks. That's all for this week. See you again soon. Bye for now.
Yeah.